What's going on, guys? My name is Monotooi, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys our Week 2 team builder for the PPL Division 2. If you guys don't know what the PPL is, please check out the description below. There will be a link to the PPL Twitter, as well as the YouTube, which did recently hit 300 subscribers, so that's really cool. Thank you guys for that. And please check out our opponent, JuancitoMarvel. Juan is someone that we have played in the past. He was our Week 1 opponent left last season. We were able to come off 5-0. However, this time around, he's going to be facing off against us with, in my opinion, a much better team. A much scarier team and a much more difficult team to go against. So, without further ado, let's get into that team real quick. Juan has Latias, Tornti, Vaporeon, Registeel, Infernape, Roserade, Raichu, Mega Tyranitar, and Togetic. So, right off the bat, you can see he's got a lot of momentum gain. He's got U-Turn Tornadus, he's got Baton Pass Vaporeon, U-Turn Infernape, Volt Switch, Raichu, and Baton Pass Togetic. Very Volturny team, as well as Baton Pass mixed in there. He's got a couple good wall breakers. Well, not really a couple good wall breakers. He's got good offensive threats, like Infernape and Roserade make a very nice offensive core. That Mega T-Tar is scary. Latias can be either bulky or offensive, same with Tornti. So his team is going to be a little bit tricky. However, I do feel like I built a team that handles his very nicely for a couple of different reasons, and those reasons I'll go into in a little bit. Kind of the story with my prep here was a lot of my Pokemon did really well against his whole team, and then there would be one or two things that stopped them. So my plan was create the team so that I had multiple different win conditions depending both on what he brought and what I was able to get rid of early. So, as you'll see here, I'm going to show off the team. Starting with the Tyranitar, we have a Choice Scarf Tyranitar with Sandstream, Stone Edge, Superpower, Crunch, and Pursuit, enough speed to outspeed a Timid Raichu as well as a Timid Latias. Pretty obviously why this is here. This is my immediate switch into Latias. A Life Orb Draco Meteor does, I believe, between 48 and 56%, so I'm not gonna be taking too much damage from that at all. Even if he is like Life Orb with HP fighting, I will be able to take it. Tyranitar is very nice natural bulk, especially in the sand. If he is some sort of bulky Latias, meant to take on my Mega Lopunny, maybe with T-Wave, I'll still be able to Pursuit Trap it with this thing, deal massive damage to it. Even if he is like physically defensive, can take the Pursuit, I can switch out into some of my other things. I can potentially set up on with my Reuniclus, can potentially deal with it with my Jellicent, and then I can maybe later come on back in and catch him staying in, trying to dodge the Pursuit and hit him just with a Crunch. So this is a very powerful Mon versus that. Aside from the Latias, hits the Tornti super effectively with an Oko. Unfortunately, I don't outspeed a Timid Tornadus, even though I am Jolly Choice Scarf, and he can knock me out with Superpower or Focus Blast, so I have to be very careful with that. Deals a ton of damage to Vaporeon, can hit the Registeel with a Superpower, deals massive damage to the Infernape, can Oko the Roserade as well as the Raichu. With the Scarf, I will outspeed a Mega Tyranitar and hit it with the Superpower, and Togetic is threatened with the Stone Edge. So, even though I may have to predict around his team a little bit, figure out what his switch into this thing is, I will be able to deal a massive amount of damage to this thing. This thing, again, its main job is to trap that Latias. Other job, even if he doesn't bring that Latias, it can potentially end up as like a late game sweeper. It can potentially come in and force him to sack something. So it's a very nice Pokemon to have versus his team. After that, we have another very big win condition versus his team. We have Fetus the Reuniclus. Now, when you look at his team, even though he does have some phasing, some haze abilities, there's nothing really stopping my Reuniclus from setting up aside from that Mega Tyranitar. Now, he could have like Encore on his Raichu, Encore on his Togetic, Haze or Roar Vaporeon, things like that, but if he doesn't prep for this Combine Reuniclus properly, he's going to have a hard time with it. And even if he does prep well with things like Haze Vaporeon, that means that he's kind of hurting himself as far as coverage is concerned. Because things like Vaporeon, you want something like Shadow Ball or Toxic to hit my Jellicent, and if you're running Haze, there's a lesser chance of that. You also obviously want that Wish, so you want like Scald, Toxic, Wish, but then what do? Do you go with Protect in order to potentially deal with my Megalopunny's high jump kick, or do you go with Baton Pass to try and gain momentum to yourself? Either way, I'm kind of benefiting here, because, like I said, depending on the sets that he brings, Reuniclus can really put a hurting on his team. Also, there are things that just can't stop me from getting to +1. For example, if I'm in with Reuniclus, he's in with Roserade, I'm probably clicking Calm Mind as long as his Tyranitar is gone. I'm running the Colbur in case he's running like a Pursuit Mega Tyranitar. I don't intend on staying in with my Reuniclus. I didn't really need the leftovers. It didn't really stop me from getting to a KO'd from anything. So I am just going to be running the Colbur here. Also, could be nice if he brings like a knockoff Torrentee. Maybe even a knockoff Raichu, so that's why I have that. Again, I gotta be careful, like if he hard switches Raichu in a Reuniclus, I'm probably gonna think, okay, he's going for Encore here, and I'll switch out. But again, Reuniclus, big win condition. If the certain things are eliminated, this thing can sweep through his team. Next up, another very important Pokemon to my team, Zapdos. Similar set to last week, however, we're going with the specially defensive set this time, and we traded off Toxic for Defog. I did kind of want Toxic to deal with, again, things like the Latias, but this time I don't feel I need it as much, and Defog is going to be a little bit more important. Not that it's huge, but I do want the rocks away so that I can continuously switch my Zapdos in and out. This is the best switch that I have to the Tornadus T. Cannot do a KO with anything, even if he's like Expert Icy Wind. I can deal with the Vaporeon very well. The Latias can't OHKO me with anything. Infernape likely cannot OHKO with me with anything. I don't think a Banded Stone Edge will kill me. Roserade, it can actually take 2 Life Orb Sludge Bombs from Roserade. I don't really want to switch it on Roserade because I don't want to get poisoned, but I can if I have to. Raichu it deals with very well, I can wear it down with Heat Wave, and then it just deals with the Togetic very well, can't T-Wave me obviously, and I get a free Defog against a lot of these things, including his Rocker being Registeel, so I can just hard switch out into Registeel, he sets up Stealth Rocks, I defog him away immediately. Obviously that does give him momentum into something, but I do have switch-ins to most of his team. Roost, because I want this thing to stay healthy. That is very important, being able to keep this thing at a good amount of HP. Because, like I said, it walls a large portion of his team. And then 8 Speedy V, just in case he tries to speed creep me with anything. I do like to have that going on. Don't really need that for, actually. Is there anything I can add to? How about you? No? Alright, well, I guess you're just staying there. So that's why I have that. Just in case he tries to speed creep me with anything. It doesn't matter too much if he tries to speed creep me. Like, he would speed creep me with, like, I don't know, defensive Roserade, I guess. Or, like, maybe Mega Tyranitar, but with Mega Tyranitar, I feel like he's either going to bring, like, a bulky set, or he's either going to bring, like, a Dragon Dance set. Dragon Dance is a little bit scary because I don't have too much to deal with it, but I do have some things to deal with it that I'll get into a little bit later. So, next up on my team, we have the Megalopunny. Now, this is a set I fooled around with a lot. I was going to go with, like, a sub-encore set. I'm going to go with, like, high jump kick over low kick, but I determined that this was the best set for his team. Stab Return, just because it hits his team, hits pretty much his entire team neutrally, aside from T-Tar and Registeel, which I obviously don't want to take a low kick. Low kick over high, I wanted high jump kick so I can guarantee myself a 2 KO on the Vaporeon, but there's a good chance it's going to be running Protect. He's got switch-ins to fighting moves anyway, being the Latias, being the Togetic. So I didn't want to, like, risk a miss on something that wouldn't matter anyway, so I do have the low kick there. It still 2 KOs the Registeel, it still OHKOs the Tyranitar just the same, so it's not a huge deal. I'm just potentially missing out on a 2 KO on the Vaporeon. Which again, could come to bite me in the ass, but I don't think so because my team deals with Vaporeon decently. Fake Out, of course, is to get my safe Mega. Priority is nice. Toxic on Megalopunny is basically for everything that he would switch in. For example, he may want to switch in Togetic, because Togetic is very bulky, can take 2 returns. Same with Vaporeon, potentially. Same with the Latias. He may bring like a physically defensive Latias to deal with my Megalopunny. None of these really appreciate being toxic. Obviously, the Vaporeon and Togetic have Heal Bell, but making them waste the turn in order to get rid of my status is good, because either of these I switch into things like my Zapdos. If neither of them have either Haze or Roar or Encore, I will be able to set up with my Reuniclus, so him having to waste the turn going for Heal Bell could be very dangerous for him, because again, I do have ways to punish him for that. That's pretty much that. The investment I have in speed, Jolly with enough speed to add speed, Timid Tornadus T. I may, just because I'm looking at it now and I see how dangerous DD Mega T-Tar can be to my team, I may change that out for enough speed to add speed Jolly T-Tar at +1. I don't think he'll do that, but in case he brings that, that would be my best bet. I gotta determine what that T-Tar is as soon as possible. But again, this is the Mega Lopunny. If I do change the EV spread, I'll let you guys know in the battle, which will be going up tomorrow. But yeah, that is Mega Lopunny. Deals with his team very well. Oko's Roserade, Oko's Raichu, Oko's Mega T-Tar, 2 KOs, the Registeel can kill the Tornadus after Stealth Rock damage, so very big threat to his team. He may be able to predict around it, but hopefully I'll be able to beat him on those predictions and punish him for it. So after that, like you guys just heard me say, DD Mega T-Tar is actually a very big issue to my team. If it's carrying Superpower and it can Oko my Mega Lopunny, that's a huge issue. It may, because it hits the T-Tar as well. Fighting is a pretty good, fighting is good coverage to have against my team in general. So I kind of needed something to deal with that, and this doesn't check it 100%, but this deals with it relatively well. This is Latif the Nidoqueen, fully physically defensive Black Sludge. With the Black Sludge, I am not too KO'd by Jolly Earthquake from the Mega Tyranitar. If he's adamant, I will be able to know right away, because I'll be able to 2KO me, and if he is adamant, I will be able to outspeed it with my Lopunny, even if he does get to +1. So that's an important thing to mention there. Earthquake and Ice Punch is my primary offensive moves. Just hit pretty much his entire team super effectively. It hits the Togetic, Tyranitar, Raichu, Roserade, Infernape, Registeel, Tornadus T, and Latias. Doesn't hit the Vaporeon super effectively. For the Vaporeon, I have the Super Fang, which will deal 50% to it, will force it to go for a Wish at some point, which, like I said, same thing with Heal Bell, gives me an offensive switch into things like my Zapdos, things like my Reuniclus. After that, we have Stealth Rock. It pretty much sets up Stealth Rocks for free against a lot of his bulk. It sets him up against Togetic, it sets him up against Tyranitar, can set him up against Raichu. If I have to, can set him up against either of these, though I don't want to take the hit from either of these. Sets him up freely against Registeel. Can set it up against the Torn-T potentially as well. So this is a very reliable rocker for his team. And the things that could defog my rocks away, similarly like how I could defog safely against the things that set up rocks, I can set up rocks against the things that would get rid of my rocks, being the Togetic primarily. Not the Latias, don't want to switch in on the Latias, but the Togetic. If he does bring Togetic, then I'll be able to get a free switch in on it, just set up my Stealth Rocks. Did want Poison Jab for the Togetic, but Ice just hits his team very nice in general. Ice Ground is very good for his team, and I 2KO the Togetic after rocks anyway. And he's not going to want to stay in because I could be offensive and kill him. So that is Nidoqueen, very big threat to his team, like I just mentioned, and pretty much my only hard switch into that Mega Tyranitar. If I'm predicting like a Stone Edge or a Crunch, I can go Mega Lopunny, but again, Nidoqueen, big switch in there. Now, the next Pokemon is something that actually caught my eye after I realized what it did to his team, and that is going to be our physically defensive Jellicent, Leftovers, Water Absorb, Scald, Toxic, Recover, and Taunt. This Pokemon shuts his bulk down. Like, Juan does not have a slow team at all, he's got a lot of fast threats, but the slow things he have are very passive and very reliant on non-attacking moves. For example, Togetic I taunt and it can pretty much do nothing. Vaporeon, if it's not carrying Shadow Ball, will not be able to touch me at all, and even if it does not 2KO me. Things like Registeel, again, I taunt, and the best it can do is Iron Head me. Neither Togetic nor Registeel can Seismic Toss me because I am a Ghost type. With the physical defense investment, I'm a very good switch into the Infernape. The only thing he can 2 KO me with is like an E-Belt Thunder Punch, which is totally fine because then I do have some potential switch-ins to that. Infernape is going to be a bit of an issue because I have no idea what moves it's going to run. It's probably going to run, it's definitely going to run Mach Punch so that I can hit my Lopunny as well as my Tyranitar. But there are ways I can deal with it. If it's E-Belt and not Banded, I can switch into my Reuniclus to take it on. If it is like Banded and locked into Flare Blitz, I can deal with this. If it's Banded locked into Thunder Punch, I switch out into my Nidoqueen. So there are things I can do to play around it. Also, a decent neutral switch would be Zapdos because it's just bulky in general. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to go over with its Eevee spread, as well as why I have Taunt, Recover, because I want to keep this thing healthy, Scald, best move in the game. The only thing, he has a couple things that don't care too much about Scalds, but again, that's fine. Being able to like Scald Burn an incoming Latias would be nice. Being able to Scald Burn the Roserade would be nice because I don't think he's going to be bringing Natural Cure Roserade. I feel like he's going to be offensive with Technician and Power Fire for my Ferrothorn. So if he is that set, I'll be able to wear him down very, very quickly. If I predict the grass move, I go out into Zapdos, he gets nothing back from the Giga Drain. So this is a Mon that just shuts his bulk down, can deal some damage over time to things. I wanted to go Will-O-Wisp over the Toxic, just because, again, I can hit the Roserade with a burn. I can burn the Registeel, can burn the Latias, but I determined Toxic was just a little bit better overall. It pressures his Vaporeon and Togetic to Heal Bell a little bit faster. Like, if I burn them, they might think, okay, no big deal, especially on Vaporeon, I'm just losing 6%, I can deal with this. With Toxic, that is constantly racking up, and I feel like they're going to be pressured a little bit more. Especially Togetic, which does not have the leftover recovery. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is not going to be super easy. Like, I feel like I've built a team that deals with his very well, but I'm still uncertain because that Mega T-Tar could be a serious issue. If he predicts with his Infernape right, something on my team will probably get to it KO'd. There's a lot of things that are going to go into this. Hopefully my plan will be able to go through. Hopefully I can wear down his offense enough to where my Volt can beat them, or my offense can beat them. So, but again, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you're looking forward to the battle. This will be a pretty tough one, but I hope you're rooting for the Luxrays.